Hi, my name is Maria, and since this is my first video, I thought that I would introduce myself a little bit. So I've recently finished a master's in children's literature that I was doing part-time because I'm unfortunately a corporate slave. And I work a 9-to-5 job, which is what a corporate slave means, but whatever. And ever since I finished, I've been kind of missing this creative aspect of my life, and I thought that this would be a fun way for me to have a safe space where I can talk about things that I'm interested in and anything of the sort, basically. Since this is my first video, disclaimer, I am quite anxious and nervous to film myself. I'm not used to this. And so if my voice sounds weird throughout, pardon me. And I will also be having my iPad next to me because I have notes on what I want to talk about, and I'm a nervous girly, so here I am. The first thing I'd like to talk about is how I've decided to unsubscribe from the notion of starting the year off in January. And what I mean by this isn't that I'm going to be not celebrating the New Year's with my family or with my friends. I just mean that I would like to take a step back from the usual routine of having January be this detrimental month in the year where I have to reinvent myself and become this new best version of myself. I was recently sent an article called Why We Have the Calendar All Wrong by Sarah O'Connor. And in her article, Sarah's basically talking about how originally the calendar didn't even start off in January, and how we're basically setting ourselves up for failure following that system. So originally, the Roman calendar consisted of 10 months and began in spring, and at the time, they didn't even care about winter months. Then the ancient Romans changed this and invented January, named after Janus, the god of time, transitions, and beginnings, which I guess is where we get a lot of our inspiration around New Year's resolutions and revamping our lives and New Year, New Me. While most countries sync to the Gregorian calendar, there are some cultures who have different start dates to the New Year, like Chinese New Year. In Iran, for example, they celebrate the New Year on March 20th with Nowruz. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, apologies if not, which means New Day. It's been celebrated for over 3,000 years in Iran and the Persian diaspora, and comes from a religion practice in ancient Persia that viewed the arrival of spring as a victory over darkness, which to me personally seems very relevant because when I think about this winter, it has been super gloomy. It's been raining every day, no joke. I've been sick multiple times, and it's been very hard for me to keep up with my regular goals and routines. So why is it that we put so much pressure on ourselves to become this new version or better version or do all the things we've been wanting to do in the worst months of the year? In the past years, whenever I've tried to really stick to New Year's resolutions, by the time March rolls around, I would have completely given up on everything. I would have tried, of course, and I think I would have had a good start to the year, but then circumstances like getting sick, having the weather be super dark and gloomy would make me not achieve most of the goals that I would have wanted. And I would basically give up, and I was living in the cycle where every year I would start off strong, then things happen, then I give up, and then I just wait until the new year to start off again. And as years went by, I kind of started to realize like, oh, actually my New Year's resolutions are always the same. I want to be healthy, I want to eat well, I want to spend time with my family and friends, I want to read because I love reading, and all of this. So it kind of blended in together and stopped being like a hard day within the year that I had to completely reinvent myself. I don't know how many times I'm saying reinvent myself. I apologize. So since the start of the year, I've just been reflecting. I've been trying different routines, seeing what works for me, enjoying the winter as winter is, sleeping in and just being cozy and this type of thing. And the most important thing that I'm doing is I'm setting myself up for success, which sounds very corporate and I hate the way it sounds. But what I mean by this is that I'm basically treating myself as if I were a 10-year-old child and just being very kind and very compassionate towards myself. And I'm not forcing myself to wake up every day at 6 a.m. to work out and have my morning routine and all of these things. But instead, I'm setting very achievable goals that are easy for me to achieve so that it gives me this sense of dopamine, maybe, that I'm hitting all of these targets and it makes me want to do them more versus setting myself up for failure by having these huge goals that I am never able to achieve. So what I've done is I have an app on my phone called Habits, and I think I paid like a tiny one-time subscription fee for it, so it's not like a monthly thing, which is super nice now because everything is a monthly thing, but whatever. And I have it on my phone instead of my journal because it's easy, it's accessible. I know that I will always use my phone basically every day, unfortunately. And the goals I have are, for example, I would like to walk 8,000 steps a day, which is very doable for me because I work from home. So sometimes I walk outside during my lunch break or after work or this type of thing. Or if I can't, I'll walk on I have like a trackpad for my desk. I'm a totally corporate working from home girly, and I'll use that. I have another goal that is, for example, to work out 3 times a week or to not use my screen before bed 3 times a week, which are also very achievable. So it just doesn't demotivate me from doing all of these things. Another thing I've been doing, which I'm finding really helpful, is I'm setting baseline goals for myself for every day of the week. So for example, I know that on Mondays, I'm very low energy. I'm going back to work after having a nice weekend of not working. It's going to be way more busy on Monday at work because that's how it is for me, at least. And I don't want to put pressure on myself and kind of block myself from doing anything the entire week on Monday. Instead, I want to motivate myself to kind of build up that momentum. So on Mondays, I don't even expect myself to go outside and leave my house. All I want to do on Mondays is have a nice morning, take care of myself, wake up, brush my teeth, do my bed, maybe read a little bit or journal before I start work. If I slept super late on Sunday, I don't expect to wake up super early also. And then the other thing that I really want to do is walk my 8,000 steps. So I either do this on the trackpad. If I'm in the mood, I go outside and I go for a walk. But the point is, I don't put pressure on myself because I know that on Mondays, I'm super tired. I'm sad to be going back to work. And I just want to be kind to myself. Then, for example, as the days go by, I have more energy, I have more motivation. So I'll go to the gym 2 or 3 times a week if I want to. I'll meal prep, I'll read more, I'll do anything that makes me feel alive, basically. And I try to see how my days are and kind of work around them instead of making myself work around my days, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, actually. For example, on Wednesdays, I don't have any meetings at work, so I would plan something to do with other people once that day is over so that I can have social interaction and not just be by myself at home all the time. And I feel like these past months, I've been very kind to myself and I'm actually doing a lot of things and I'm being very quote unquote productive. I'm waking up, I'm journaling, I read, I'm not just sleeping after work because I'm so tired. I'm genuinely enjoying being alive, which sometimes it's hard. And as one of my friends recently told me, it's about accepting that you can do everything you want to do, but not at the same time. You have to sacrifice some things during certain periods, and you just have to make sure that you're balancing yourself out. What I also do every year is I answer these end of year journal prompts that I have on my Notion. I just answer them on my Notion to kind of see the tiny progress I make each year. And I do it on my Notion, again, because it's more easy and accessible for me versus the daunting task of having to write all of it down. So I just want to make it easy for myself. And since this year's trend is to have a more whimsical time in your life, I also set myself whimsical resolutions for the year, and I thought I'd share them because why not? I think it's fun if anyone wants some ideas. My first whimsical resolution is centered around Korea, and is because I'd really love to visit Korea this year or next year. So one of the whimsical resolutions is to immerse myself in Korean culture and watch more K-dramas, listen to Korean music, try more Korean food, learn more about the history of Korea and the Korean-Japanese War, read more Korean authors, and this type of thing. My second whimsical resolution is to try a different cuisine every month, which has been super fun. I've so far done Korean food and Ethiopian food, and next month we're going to go to a Palestinian restaurant, which is super nice. And another addition that I was thinking of doing to this is to also watch a movie from the place. I forgot my English. To watch a movie from the country that I'm trying food from. That's what I wanted to say, sorry. Which leads into my other whimsical resolution, which is to watch 5 non-English speaking movies, which is fun and trying to be cultured. And then the other 2 is to bake something different every month, which I haven't been doing, but it's only March and there's still time in the year. And the other thing is to celebrate holidays, which I also haven't really been doing. And what I mean by this is like going into the theme. So for example, if it's Valentine's Day, watching rom-coms, reading romance books, just being cheesy and cringe and just getting into the festive season and any holiday that there is, like try and enjoy it as much as I can. So those were my whimsical resolutions, and I thought I would share some more I came across on TikTok or Instagram in case anyone wants to try, and they're also ones I'm interested in and might give a go too. So the first one is seasonal playlists. I also really enjoy listening to albums fully, like from start to finish, which I never really used to do before, but now I do it and I like it. Another thing is swapping your phone wallpapers every so often. I also do this with my Slack and my Outlook. I change the colors of them quite frequently so that it feels new and it gives me this like added whimsy in my life, which is sad, but it makes me happier. The next thing is seasonal foods, like for example, making more soups in winter, trying different salads in summer and stuff like this. The next thing is hosting board game nights, which I do sometimes with my housemate, which is very nice. Create a book club. I have this with my friends and it's been such a fun way to diversify your reading, so I really recommend it. And just generally being whimsical, using glitter, trying new things with your journal, being cringe basically, like doing things in a not perfect way, which I've been trying to do a lot, which you will see from this video. So that's basically it. I hope you enjoyed my first video, and write in the comments below any whimsical resolutions, anything you're excited to do this year, and I'll see you soon. Bye!